Welcome to a presentation of Chapter 1, Section 4 in McDougal Littell's 8th grade textbook entitled Powers and Exponents. There are three definitions today. The first one is the definition of a power. A power is a product with a repeated factor. A product with a repeated factor. Second definition is that of an exponent. A number or expression that represents how many times a base is used as a factor in repeated multiplication. A number or expression that represents how many times a base is used as a factor in repeated multiplication. I'll read that one extra time because it is long. A number or expression that represents how many times a base is used as a factor in repeated multiplication. And the last one is the definition of a base. A base is the number or expression that is used as a factor in repeated multiplication. The number or expression that is used as a factor in repeated multiplication. In the next column, you see a representation of a power. And I'm going over this with you. You are probably already very familiar with powers, at least in my estimation. So it's not a whole lot of this I'm going to go over. But I do want to go over the correct terminology. Okay? In this power, a to the b, the whole thing is a power. A is the base, and b is the exponent. Again, the whole thing is a power, A is the base, and B is the exponent. This is also a quiz question on this week's quiz. I think I even give you A to the B and I say, what's the power, what's the base, what's the exponent? And you have to be able to tell me all those essential parts. So if we take a look at example 1, 2 to the 5th, what's the base? Of Esther? 2 is the base. What is the power?
5.
No. 2 to the 5th. The whole thing is the power. Now, Nick, what's the exponent?
5.
5 is the exponent. Good. If you can do that, you'll get the quiz question right on Friday. Okay, in example 2, we're not actually going to do any writing. Example 2, they just want to make sure you can read the following powers correctly. So in part A, you would want to say that's 2 to the 5th or 2 to the 5th power. What don't you want to say? You don't want to say something like 2 to the power of 5. That's incorrect. Either 2 to the 5th or 2 to the 5th power. So, part B. Read part B for me. 3 to the 2nd or 3 to the 2nd power. Does anybody remember the shortcut way to say second? Evans. You can say squared as well. 3 squared. If the exponent was 3, as opposed to saying third power, what else could I say? Nick?
Cubed.
You could also say cubed. Good. All right. Part C. Read part C for me. Caleb.
5 to the 0.
5 to the 0th, good. Or you can say 5 to the 0th power. All right, let's go on to the next example. A little bit of a, hopefully not a trick question, but it might be. What is the value of anything to the 0th power? What is the value of anything to the 0th power? Alvester?
0.
No, incorrect. Got a guess, Brian?
4.
number? Base.
Well, it is a number, but it's not the base. No.
Oh,
Okay.
wait.
Anything to the 0th power
1.
equals 1.
Oh, I was going to say that too.
Anything to the 0th power, even if it's 0 to the 0th, equals 1. Yes?
So how would you say it?
0.
C,
Yeah.
5 to the 0th power. Or you can say 5 to the 0th. Okay.
I think I'm drawing.
Yes.
How does that work?
I could give you the technical explanation, but it requires a lot more knowledge than you have.
Oh, that was me. That was cold hard.
But I can print it out for you if you'd like it.
Harsh. Just
Sure.
I'll print it out for you after we're done.
And then you can say that I don't have all the knowledge.
apologize.
Paper
Well, you
notes.
don't. Nobody in here does.
You?
Well, I do.
I did.
Oh. Sorry.
All right. Example 4. Write as a repeated multiplication. So they're not asking you here to actually solve the problem. All they want you to do in this example is to write it as a repeated multiplication. So, for example, when the first one, 7 to the 4th, all they want you to write down is 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. That's repeated multiplication, the problem you'd actually have to solve to figure out what that power is equal to. So, if I asked you to write as a repeated multiplication 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 5th would be what, Shelby?
5, 2, so like 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2.
Good.
Calculator?
Alright, let's move on to example 5. Example 5 asks us to evaluate 16t squared minus t if t equals 3. 16t squared minus t if t equals 3. So all we have to do in this problem is plug 3 in for t.